to our channel.
Hello.
We are unintentionally matching today. I actually got my clothes out before Jack, so I say that he can beat me.
Sure.
Anyway, welcome back to another video. It is round 3 of the Italian GT Sprint in Mugello. So we've just flown into Bologna and we are now driving towards Florence. It is 11:30, or it's actually 12:30 because my watch hasn't changed just yet. We're a little bit peckish.
No, it's 11:30.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh right, okay. My bad. 11:30. A little bit peckish. We had our porridge on the plane on the way out this morning with a little bit of
Do you want
chocolate.
to stop here?
Up to you. Do you wanna come here? Or go one more maybe?
Go one more.
Okay. We're just deciding where we're going to stop for food because we're a little bit hungry. But obviously we don't want to stop too early because it's still early in the day. Anyway, got a lovely Fiat Panda. Absolute crap mobile.
It's honestly probably the worst rental car I've ever had. Doesn't even have electric mirrors.
You got the old windows
Just about
here.
has a radio with USB.
So I'm on the nav.
And there's no Apple CarPlay, which is fair enough. Not every car has CarPlay, but yeah, it's pretty basic, pretty cheap and nasty. Not the finest bit of engineering to come out of Italy by any means, not even close. But you know what? It's a rental car. It's got 4 wheels and a steering wheel and an engine. The boot isn't big enough to accommodate my large case. So.
Oh, Jack bought some trainers, didn't you?
Oh yeah,
airport?
I bought some OC all black trainers. I'll show you them in a bit. 15 quid cheaper than in the high street. Been toying with getting them for a while because my other black trainers I kind of use for Lambo work and just kind of trainers to try and be smart, worn out. So finally treated myself, and we were looking at some Oakley glasses, maybe getting some more, because I now have an Oakley bike helmet. So the storage for when you're not wearing glasses while riding is designed to store Oakley glasses. So I fancy some more. Corinne fancy some maybe for running and riding.
Yeah, and we forgot the electrolytes, didn't we? Because one thing Jack said, because he raced here last year, was obviously it's very, very hot.
So
it's
hot.
going to be 33 degrees and he's obviously racing, so there's no aircon, etc, etc. So he was like, we must remember the electrolytes. Forgot them. So we nipped into Boots at the airport and just grabbed some, just so that we're all prepared, all kitted up. Obviously not me, but I will have some as well because the spectators are obviously going to be working extra hard too. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Jack's parents are with us on this one, so they're in the car.
It's hard
behind,
work.
just following us.
They've travelled once in the last 5 years, and that trip was mainly, that was to see my brother in Vietnam, and that was all arranged by him. But it's hard work. You can tell they're a bit rusty on the travelling, and they're a bit older now, and it's just like, it honestly feels like travelling with kids. Like, they're so slow at walking, they like seem like they're not getting lost, but they just take ages to do everything. And yeah,
We've got our travelling nailed.
I'm a frequent traveller, so I can be in and out of any airport. Give me a new airport anywhere in the world, I'll find my way around and get where I need to go. But they're like almost back to being newbies again.
Yeah. But
So,
first stamping the new passport for Jack,
Yeah, lovely.
and we're just going to make our way to our hotel. We can check in from 1 o'clock.
Then we'll go
grab a
find
bit
a
of
supermarket.
food, go to the supermarket, do our shop,
And then go to the
that's
track.
that. I will do a room tour in a second, but I just thought that I'd show you what we've got from the shop. So this isn't everything, this is just everything that's going to be kept in the fridge. So we've got bananas, prunes, dates, blueberries, raisins, raspberries. That's all for like breakfast along with the chocolate. Jack's then got these liquid gel, like sports gels, and then we've got protein bars as well, because basically we forgot all of the stuff that we have at home. So we've brought it out here, just trying to be on it. So we've got water and we've got milk as well. And then just for this afternoon, we've just got a little yogurt each that we can have with some fruit and maybe some nuts and raisins that we've got in the room, which I'll show you in a second. And then this is in our room, so we've got some apples, the nuts and raisins, we've got our porridge for each day, grab some electrolyte tablets from Boots, the remainder of some chocolate. Actually, I can go put that in the fridge in a sec. Then we've got our hot chocolate, our portable cutlery, and then tea, coffee, latte sachets. Jack, could I just give you that chocolate? And then our final purchase, which Jack will be buzzing about because he was mentioning it the other day, is a portable kettle. And so he was saying about it the other day, you can tell us story time in a sec, but basically we were just coming out of Conad, which is the local little shop nearby us, and they had 2 left, and where we're staying doesn't have a kettle. And initially we were saying about boiling a pan of water, but to be honest I think it's going to be more hassle than it's worth. So yeah, it was €14.90, which was £12.34. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about it the other day, so I feel like it's a sign from the universe. 1 litre, it's quite small, should be able to fit in a large case, you know, for most trips, like race weekends don't have that much stuff. If you're going away for a long period of time, it might be a squeeze, but we both like to have, I like to have a coffee, a latte, whatever in the morning. We bring our porridge pots racing, and probably not, as I say, on holiday we're going to have stuff, but I think even for going on holiday, just better have a hot drink in the room. A lot of countries are not like England. We like our tea, we like our coffee when we want.
Hot chocolate for
You know,
me.
hot chocolate. In Italy, hot chocolate is, you know, hard
Not
to find.
even a thing.
Real tea is not really a thing. So as long as you can get hold of milk, you've got a fridge, and you've got 5 bottles of water, you're all good to go. So for 12 quid.
Not even bottles of water, because if you're boiling it.
Off the tap, yeah. But obviously, okay, it's a 2-pin plug, but then really we've got a kettle at home, we've got my coffee machine, so we're only going to
And most hotels, don't they, in England,
we're
have
pretty much,
kettles.
yeah, only going to be using it in Europe, so why not get a 2-pin plug? And worst case scenario, if we're going to go to America and take it, which I think is a bit probably extreme because I feel like they probably do have kettles, you
just get an adapter.
So that is the
This is our new purchase of the day.
New toy.
So we'll keep you posted with how it is. Little bit of a rocky start, to be fair. So we obviously landed and we've got to our room and it's just not really what we were expecting, but it's fine, we're making the most of the situation.
The room is actually nice.
This is the room, so we've moved the bed over so that we can accommodate our cases there, but it's quite small. It's basically a shared bathroom and shared kitchen. So not really ideal and not what you would expect, but hey ho, life goes on. We're not really here that much anyway, it's just a place to sleep and a place to wash, so we're just gonna push on, persevere and make the most of the situation.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna maybe have a quick nap or go for a walk and then nap, whatever, and then we got a track walk at 6:30, so we've got 3 hours, and the track's what, 5-10 minutes away?
Yeah. So yeah, got a bit of time.
That is that.
See you in a bit.
It's literally the start of FP1 in a second, so Jack's teammate Philip is just in the car. I think he's going to go and do some breaks, then do a little bit maybe at the end or something, or in the middle, and then Jack's going to jump in for just one part of the session. And then the practice this afternoon, Jack's going to do 2 and his teammate will do 1. It is so hot, I'm literally sweating 1 hour. It's probably like easily 30 degrees already and it is just before 11 o'clock. So this is their sister car here. you can see, but they have just come in because it's full course yellow, and Jack is just getting in the car now. They are... Oh my god. That car. Just gone sort of past the start finish a little while ago, so we should be coming home shortly. Good morning everyone, it is Saturday morning. We didn't do a check-in or anything last night because where we're staying, a little bit of a weird setup and there was other people there basically. So we are just on our way to the track this morning. Qualifying is in 1 hour. We were just saying Jack's not sure whether he's doing Q1 or Q2, but do you want to give them a quick rundown on yesterday?
Yeah, bit of a rubbish day to be honest. We started with a setup that we ran at Monza when we were testing there 2 weeks ago, and the car just was behaving totally differently, very uncompliant. You know, I don't mind a car that's hard to drive, you know, and maybe even a bit oversteery so the back slides a bit, but when you need, you know, there's certain points that you need the car just to be underneath you and you need to have a stable car, and we just didn't have that yesterday. A couple of little bits we can change on our driving to just you know, help with that, especially with Mugello because it's very fast and flowing circuit. Sometimes it's easy to get sucked into trying to really push the entry to the corners, but there's a lot of corners that lead onto other corners, like a lot of chicanes, so you have to actually really be patient on the way in to focus on getting a good exit. But yeah, we've made some quite big changes on the car overnight. We didn't leave the track till like 9:30. Luckily we're only staying around the corner. So yeah, up this morning nice and early for our little 3k run, bit of breakfast, and feeling quite good, optimistic, positive. I think after our first 2 rounds this year, you know we can be on the front row, we can be fast enough, good enough to deliver the results. Yeah, there is, but let's go there.
No, in this one here. Just there, in between those two. No?
Oh yeah. Lovely. And
or down the end there.
Yeah, we know we've got the capability to do the job, but we just need to put our heads, well, obviously put our heads together last night, and yeah, we know what we've got to do. So let's see what we can do today in qualifying, and then obviously race 1 later on this afternoon. It's one of those in a way that, to me, I feel the pressure's off. We had so many issues this year that the championship's kind of over, not being negative, but like it's really going to be hard for us to win or do what we kind of came to do at the start of the year. So to me the pressure's off, but at the same time, if we can bag some good results,
it's not over,
you know,
it's
never over. You never know what's going to happen to other people. We could have 4 really good races for the second half of the season, and others could have problems. But to me it feels like the pressure's kind of off because we have delivered, but we had some pretty rubbish luck with issues. So yeah, let's see what happens.
Later.
Yeah, see you later. Hello everyone, it is Saturday evening, fresh out the shower and ready for bed. Where to begin for today? I'm just going to be totally honest, because the whole point of this channel was bringing you along for the ride, good, the bad, the ugly, and today was definitely, well, this weekend has definitely been bad and ugly. We've just been lacking pace the whole weekend. I don't think really down to anything in specific. I think we've struggled to find the working window for the car. I think the BOP, the balance of performance, isn't in our favour for Lambos this weekend in general. All the Lambo teams are struggling. We're slow in the speed traps. We had the success penalty to carry from the last round where we were really fast and obviously won both races. But because we started, anyway, let's get back to, qualifying, went out, warm-up lap, ready to go, red flag, someone crashed. Okay, back in, pick up a load of dirt on the way in on the short circuit, back to the pits because it's a long lap at Mugello. It's very abrasive surface, so you really wear the tyres out quickly, so the peak of the tyre where they're at their best is very, very small and short. So back out again, did an okay lap, ready for lap 2, red flag again. Okay, bugger, into the pits. And then we did what we did at the last round, where we basically you have 5 sets of tyres a weekend, 3 new sets, so we basically then did 2 new tyres on the left because that's the side you lean on the most, so it's like a half new set of tyres, but you put it on the side you use the most. And then everyone went out at the same time, didn't manage to find a clear lap, so that was a waste of time, but a lot of other people managed to improve, so P13 it was, which was absolutely terrible. Obviously wasn't best pleased, but anyway, we knew race 1 was going to be an absolute disaster. Basically, we're having to carry 15 seconds extra in the pits. Start of the first race was okay, but then it went red flag and a full restart because there was a big crash taking 2 guys out. Then there was the restart about an hour later. Start was okay, not quite as good as the first one. It was a bit processional, as it's quite hard to pass at Mugello, quite fast and flowing. And then I actually had a half spin, just the car was being really tricky this weekend and it caught me out into turn 13. I'm not sure whether I was carrying too much brake or what happened, but it really aggressively it's a long 180 degree right hander, it just aggressively snapped mid corner. So I had a half spin, got going again, managed to pass 3 of the 4 cars that came past me before the pit stop. Then we stopped. I didn't actually watch much of the second stint because I just went. Safety car, you missed that one. Yeah, I know. I was getting to that. I didn't watch much of it because I went for a walk to cool down because it's very hot.
No. There was a safety car in your session.
Oh yeah, sorry. There was a safety car just before the pit stop, so that bunched us up again. And then that in that 2 laps between the safety car coming in and me just coming in the pits to stop early to try and get some clear track. I managed to, like I say, pass 3 of the cars. Anyway, I then went for a walk because it was really hot, I sweat a lot and I was obviously pretty annoyed. So I did that. There was another safety car during Philip's stint, but anyway, we managed to bring it home. Was it 9th, I think, in the end? Yeah. 9th and 5th in the pro class, so still scored some points. A couple of our competitors didn't finish, so, try and take the positives where possible. But yeah, not a great weekend. And then fitting Philip's session, similar thing. He did 1 lap and then it went red. And because of all the issues in my session, there wasn't enough fuel to run again. No, sorry. So it went red and he was going to run again, but he had literally enough fuel for 1 lap and then he had caught traffic. So yeah, starting 10th tomorrow as well. So not ideal. We've got obviously no added pit stop time, which is a bonus. I haven't actually even looked at any data this afternoon, evening, just kind of chilled out, came away from the track. But we'll just have a look through things tomorrow morning, see if there's any changes we can make, try and tune up the driving a little bit as well, and just see if we can just drag a half sensible result out of it. I think if we could end up with a top 5, it would kind of salvage what's been a pretty rubbish weekend. It's quite demoralising when after the last one we were super fast and we had double pole and won both races on track, to then have 2.5 months off and turn up and be you know, in qualifying nearly 2 seconds off the pace is just, yeah, it's quite demoralising, especially when you kind of don't seem to make much progress throughout the sessions, like the practice, and you kind of think you're making changes and right, we're going to do this and we're going to nail it, and then you just don't. It's kind of, I guess, the kind of part of any, I'll say elite sport, okay, not professional, but you know, any part of elite sport, you know, when things just don't go right, you do everything right, you think you're on the right track, and things just don't happen. It can be quite demoralising, but you kind of just have to pick yourself up and, you know, go again. Just keep the faith that it will get better. Anyway, I've rambled for nearly 6 minutes now, so see you guys tomorrow. Let's see how it goes then.
Hello everyone. We were going to end this video, but we're actually just on our way to a different kind of event that I thought that we'd just carry the video on for, seeing as the race weekend wasn't really very interesting, and I didn't really film too much because it was just too hot and it didn't go very well. So we are on our way to Goodwood. It's come a little bit of a Tuesday tradition the last couple of weeks, and Jack is going to be racing his push bike, so trading 4 wheels for 2. And do you want to tell them a little bit about what you're doing?
Yeah, well, let's start with Mugello. It was an absolute disaster, a metaphorical washout. It wasn't a washout because it was bloody hot, but it was just terrible with the balance of performance we had with the Lamborghini, and just generally trying to find a good setup with the car. It was just an absolute disaster. The car was horrible, down to no one's fault. Between us and the team, our engineer Fernando, who's brilliant, we worked tirelessly all weekend. We tried everything possible, different springs, different cambers, different roll bars, different, you name it, we tried it, and we just could not find a good balance. The car was just really, really hard to drive. Due to the balance of performance, we were just slow in a straight line, and it was just pretty tragic. We went forward in both races, but yeah, just not what we wanted. So yeah, putting that behind us, quite glad I'm coming to Goodwood on this Tuesday. I feel like it's something to reset and kind of get me fired up again, because it's always quite depressing coming home after a bad weekend racing. So yeah, this is basically the final, so the I forget, was it RCR Fat Creations put on all these events at Goodwood, have done for the last 6 or 7 years. I know the time trial was run by different people. Anyway, so I did a 4-up time trial earlier in the year, and obviously that got the bug going for racing my bike, which has kind of been there for the last year or so, but just timing and, you know, should I, shouldn't I, whatever. And there's no time like the present. And then I did my first crit 3 weeks ago. They basically had the 3-round summer series. I didn't make any of them, and then they did an extra one, and then they did another extra run. I was like, right, I'm in on that, and then they're like, right, this one is the last one, and obviously it's another one that hasn't clashed. So not ideal timing with being away racing at the weekend, but I was like, yes, need to get my fix, and also I need 1 point to go from 4th to 3rd cap, which is the next rider category up. You have a bike license as well, another license that I have. So quite keen to get up to 3rd cat and be open to do different and more races and events going into the rest of the year and into next year. Yeah, don't really know what else there is to say. Back on my black bike, that's
last
fixed.
Time?
Yeah, probably going to be the last time at Good. Oh, last time.
How did it go?
Sorry, last time.
What are you going to do different this time?
Last time we finished 5th in the sprint over the line, but my positioning into the last corner wasn't ideal. So this time I'm going to really hide a lot more the first few laps. I was way too much in the wind in the first few laps, because if you imagine on a bike, all the while you're in the slipstream and behind people, you're having to do far less work, so therefore saving energy. And it's all about having energy for the for this sort of event where it's a flat circuit. You want enough energy to basically be able to position yourself at the front, because if you imagine you go into the last lap, providing the races all come back together, because quite often the race will break up. For people who don't understand bike racing, you'll have a breakaway sort of anywhere from 1 up to about sometimes 10, 15 will go up the road, and you allow that to happen so the rest of the race can kind of chill, but then obviously you have to pull them back at some point. And then yeah, generally the last lap's quite hectic because everyone's fighting for position, but you want to try and time it right, because you essentially have, if you imagine like a revolver pistol, you have 6 bullets. You know, you only have a certain number of bullets, and if you shoot them all before the last lap, and you're out of energy and you're, you know, on the ropes as it were, there's not really much you can do. You need to you need to be as productive and as efficient as you can, using as least amount of energy as possible. That's basically the name of the game in bike racing. So obviously in professional racing, where you have a team, you have people to shelter you and help position you, but when you're riding on your own like I am tonight, you have to kind of surf on wheels, and you have to kind of look at who you think looks strong and who looks maybe it's not necessarily experienced, but it's third, fourth cat, but you try and look at who seems good and sit with them. Just basically, it's all about tactics. You basically want to just be in the front few, and then, to be honest, with the way Goodwood is with a chicane at the end, you want to be in the first probably 3 or 4 going into the last chicane, so then people can't cut you up and steal your position and force you to brake. So I was a little bit out. I got good running down the back straight and then got cut up into the chicane, so I was out of position as I started the sprint. And you know, if you imagine, same as with a car, you want to get the best exit and use your power as best as possible, and if you're having to use that power too early, or you know, from a bad position, you're trying to make places up instead of opening the sprint and racing the front, say 5 or 6. So I ended up 5th over the line. It was very close. I was catching the ones in front of me, there's people behind coming at me as well.
And I missed the finish because Jack didn't explain to me how it worked. So I walked away.
With a circuit criterium, especially a flat one like this, it's pretty much guaranteed to stay together, especially Cap 3-4, which this is. It's almost guaranteed to be a bunch sprint and stay together. So yeah, obviously the more hillier races, or the tougher, the higher level it is, you will have obviously people who really push the pace to try and basically you know, wean it out and get so it's just the strongest people at the end. And likewise, if you don't have a very good sprint, so if you're say 5 to 10, even 20-second power, that real burst of power is not very good, but you can kind of ride at a fairly high power for a longer period of time, you might try and open the taps a bit earlier and get a gap and really force someone who has a good sprint to chase after you and use their bullets a bit early. You basically just got to play to whatever your strengths are. Now, as I'm quite new to this game and I've never really followed a training program, I still don't really know what my strengths are. I have quite a good sprint for a 3rd, 4th cat rider. I feel like I'm not too bad up kind of rolling hills, but I'm obviously quite heavy compared to a proper guy who's going to ride up mountains, so I'm never going to be an out and out climber, but I feel on a sort of lumpy circuit race or lumpy road race I'd be okay, and I feel like I've got an alright sprint, so I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. So it's just trying to work out, like today I'm tempted to have a go at, I can say this because the video is going to come out after and I doubt anyone here is watching, but I'm going to try and go maybe even a lap or 2 from the end, but then obviously you risk people going with you, and then you're in a breakaway and you might end up almost pulling someone to the finish. So you've got to be careful you don't put yourself in a position where you basically drag someone else to the win. It's all tactics, and there's a lot to deal with, like car racing. You're kind of, as well as, you know, going around with a heart rate of like maybe sometimes 160, 70, 80 beats a minute, you're also trying to think like a game of chess. So it's that's where it really helps having a high level of fitness and saving energy, because then you have a little bit more time to think. So anyway, I've rambled enough. Let's see how it goes tonight. I'm going to get stuck in, going to have a good crack. I know what I did wrong in the last one, and we're going to see how the race unfolds. And like I say, I'll either go lap and a half, 2 laps from the end and have a dig at trying to go solo or with a small group, or if I'm going to go for the sprint and commit to the sprint, I need to make sure that coming into that last couple of corners I am in the front 5 or 6 ready to really attack the last chicane. So let's go.
again, everyone, hopefully you haven't got any food around our mouths. We just had our meal on the road, which I prepped last night at 10 o'clock for myself. Had shepherd's pie and Jack had chilli. Cold obviously, but hey ho, life goes on because we are prepared. And Jack's going to give you a little rundown on how it went. I did take a few clips, so I would have inserted them already.
Yeah, so I tried my best second time round to not be in the wind as much, and definitely early in the race, first kind of probably 3, maybe 4 laps, I definitely was. I was right at the back and like just hanging about, chilling. And then as it gets a little bit more towards the middle and just over halfway, every time there's a move that goes up the road, as in like by that I mean 3 or 4 riders kind of sprint off and try and form a little group. Just as you edge closer and closer towards the finish, you just have to, you know, patrol it a little bit more. I don't have any teammates, so every move that goes up the road I have to kind of assess it and think, is it dangerous enough to warrant chasing after it, or do I just let the whole main group peloton close it back up? So a couple of times I chased after things, but overall was still trying to chill, but still need to work on my positioning. Found myself just in the wind quite a lot. And then going down the back straight on the last lap, I kind of managed again, typical me, got myself boxed in the middle, and was sort of kind of probably 2/3 the way to the back, and I was just waiting, kind of almost having to brake and slow down to find a space. Managed to get out to the left, to the outside, put in a bit of a shift round Shell Oils, the double right you have at the end of the back straight at Goodwood, put in a real kind of not a full sprint, but probably 8 out of 10 sprint. Came into the last chicane first, as kind of discussed this with a friend of mine who races bikes, said, you know, really with Goodwood you don't need a full lead out, so you can really, positioning is the most important, but obviously I had to make quite a big effort to get to that positioning. And then I opened my sprint obviously out the chicane, but had a few people on my wheel and basically dragged the eventual winner to the line. He beat me probably by half a wheel length, half a bike length at most. But obviously he sat in my slipstream the whole time, so really pleased with my sprint, really pleased with like the decision I made on the road to make the best of a bad situation with the positioning down the back straight. But had I been positioned nearer the front down the back straight, and I could have done exactly what I did, but you know, 5 or 6 guys further towards the front, I may not have had to have made such a big effort, or I would have had a gap which would have been enough to win. So still a learning process for me, early days. Should now have enough points to go Cat 3 and step things up a bit. Want to try and get my training and nutrition a bit, well the nutrition is quite good, but the training a bit more specific and serious on the bike, not just riding kind of quite fast all the time, start actually doing some proper training sessions over the winter. And yeah, watch this space, there could be a bit more bike racing next year. But yeah,
really lucky us, living on the road again.
Yeah, really pleased though. You know, if I don't compete at all anymore this year, we had a 4th, very close to a podium in the team time trial I did. I had 5th in my first race, 2nd in my race just now, you know, nearly had the win. So I'm over the moon with it really, you know, can't really ask for more so early on in my amateur cycling career. Quite pleased. I feel there's definitely hopefully some more podiums and even wins on the cards in the near future. So yeah, like I say, watch this space and let's see.
Yeah, and we're going to close this video off now. So we hope you guys enjoyed our adventures to Mugello and Goodwood, and we will catch you again soon in a brand new video.
Maybe not at a racetrack, who knows?
Bye.